2022 is a big year for fantasy fans, with franchises like The Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones premiering spin-off series to take audiences back to beloved fictional worlds. While Rings of Power and House of the Dragon are set in different periods than their parent stories, they take place in Middle-earth and Westeros, respectively, which will be a familiar and welcome sight for many die-hard fans. After all, one of the best parts of any fantasy movie, series, or video game is being able to slip into a fictional world full of magic, advanced technology, or mysterious creatures that are not possible in the real world. This has led many fans to discuss the fantasy worlds that they would most want to live in. Whether because they want to see legendary sights for themselves, like in Middle-earth, or catch and collect their favorite creatures, like in Pokémon, fans have made their top choice and are sharing their pick on Reddit. Hyrule: The Legend of Zelda. When Redditor Harriskeith considered what fantasy worlds they would most want to live in, they thought about which they could see themselves surviving at least one day under ideal circumstances. As an answer, they came up with the Kingdom of Hyrule in the Legend of Zelda video games. In most of the Zelda titles, Hyrule is a beautiful kingdom covered in grassy, rolling hills, dramatically smoking mountains, deserts, and mysterious forests. While threats from monsters are a constant, the towns and villages of Hyrule always seem pleasant, making it seem like a relatively comfortable and magical place to live. Middle-earth: Lord of the Rings. Full of powerful supernatural beings, Lord of the Rings is one of the oldest franchises in the fantasy genre and has therefore established the basic skeleton of any world containing elves, dwarves, orcs, and halflings that would follow. As J.R.R. Tolkien is the father of fantasy, it is only fitting that the continent of Middle-earth would be a top pick for Redditors like Gatino. This Redditor specifically cited the Shire as where they would want to set up permanent residence. "I like how peaceful it is," they said, referring to the leisurely lives of the hobbits, who enjoy eating, drinking, gardening, and smoking pipe weed in cozy little homes. The Pokémon universe. Pokémon. It didn't take long for kids in the 90s to dream about collecting real Pokémon like they did the mini trading cards. The various video games brought this to a different level, with the mobile game Pokémon Go taking the world by storm when it was released. While Redditor Evolutionary FOX2 chose the Pokémon world as their dream home because they wanted their own pocket monsters, they also pointed out that travel is free and the job options rock pretty much any kid or adult's fantasy. The Star Trek universe. Star Trek sci-fi is a category within the fantasy genre, interesting because it focuses more on advanced technology and science than unexplained magic. This can make a sci-fi world appealing to those looking for a fictional world to settle down through the lens of logic. One Redditor pointed out that the Star Trek universe would make a great home since poverty was eliminated in the early 22nd century. Therefore, the life of the everyday citizen would be amazing, even if they never got the chance to live on a starship. Plus, it would be interesting to meet one of the many kinds of Star Trek aliens. The mortal world Avatar, The Last Airbender. Like Pokémon, the world in Avatar, The Last Airbender is full of fun, adorable creatures. However, the natural appeal of Aang's world is that those with the talent can bend a specific element, depending on their nation, to breathtaking effect. This is exactly why Redditor RHEZZ12 said definitely Avatar, sharing that they want to bend some elements. Even if a fan putting up residence within the world didn't personally have the talent, it would be fantastic to live somewhere where neighbors and friends could usefully move mountains and rivers. The Marvel Universe. MCU. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has produced over 30 movies and series depicting the fantastical real-world-like universe in which people can be born with mutations, soldiers can be granted super strength, and science experiments will always result in a new superhero. Of course, living in this world has proven very risky for the everyday Earth citizen, with battles involving the Avengers famous for their civilian casualties. However, one Reddit user considered this completely worth the risk since there is always a way to get powers. Skyrim The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim in Elder Scrolls V is another LOTR similar fantasy world full of interesting humanoid races and hundreds of quests to complete. This, combined with the breathtaking landscapes and unlimited magical possibilities, makes it somewhere that, while unsafe, would be a great place to live. A Redditor claimed they would love to live in Skyrim, assuming it was after the Dragonborn killed Alduin, reducing the overall risk. The idea of living on a quiet farm outside of Whiterun was just their speed, and with hobbies like smithing available to pick up, they would never get bored. The galaxy far, far away Star Wars, while the constant political conflict within the far, far off galaxy shown in Star Wars might make life difficult for the average citizen, it's hard for any fan to resist a desire to become a Jedi Knight and wield a lightsaber for real. That is the case for Redditor Asteroid Mike, who shared that the millions of different planets alone would be worth seeing. The variety of sentient species in this galaxy seem unlimited, providing full-time residents with something new to see around every corner. The continent The Witcher The key to a perfect fantasy world in a video game seems to be a gorgeous open-world concept with a Renaissance theme. This is achieved to significant effect in The Witcher, which allows players to mosey through towns and landscapes at a slow, leisurely pace to allow complete absorption of the pristine views. This was duplicated in the popular Netflix adaptation of The Witcher, which has been praised for its exceptional special effects. Redditor Cactusmock specifically picked the Kingdom of Skellige as the best place to live, pointing out that it seemed to have fewer of the more disturbing monsters. However, even if the beasts created a problem, The Witcher would be there to help. The Wizarding World Harry Potter Young Harry Potter fans were often devastated when their 11th birthday came and went with no Hogwarts letter. It meant they would finally have to accept that they were not a witch or wizard and would not be riding a train away to attend school in a magical castle. For many, the Wizarding World within the Harry Potter series would be the first choice to live within. Since the Muggle world exists right alongside the secret Wizarding one, a fan could experience fantasy without entirely leaving their current life behind. Plus, as Redditor SPS26 pointed out, you can do